Snowy weather in Arkansas and possibly more on the way. The latest on conditions from our team of meteorologists. And a nursing facility is quarantined after many of its residents are diagnosed with the highly contagious norovirus.
In honor of Heart Month, we're taking you inside the Arkansas Heart Hospital, where some of their procedures can actually forecast the future health of your heart. I'm Justin Lewis. I'll tell you what it's all about coming up.
From KATV, winner of the Edward R. Murrow Award for Best Newscast, this is Channel 7 News at 6.
It is most definitely still winter. Light snow flurries in central Arkansas today, a little heavier in places like Franklin County near Ozark, covering the ground and the roads. Our weather team says there could be more flurries on the way. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Inman.
And I'm Christina Munoz. It sure has been pretty, but is it cause for concern? Let's get right to the weather team. Chief Meteorologist Ned Permy and Meteorologist Barry Brandt here with the latest, guys.
Actually, round one, we advertised light snow and flurries move through today. It's about gone. We've got another one possible for tomorrow and doesn't look like it's going to be very heavy. The good news is it didn't cause any travel problems. The atmosphere very, very dry. Let's go to our 5 live Doppler radars and we'll show you what's left of the system is moving out through the Jonesboro area. Some very light rain moving on into Mississippi County. This should be out of here within the next hour or so. As I mentioned, another light round again tomorrow afternoon and evening. But then, Barry, some of the models, or at least one model, picking up on maybe a stronger system early next week.
Yeah, these disturbances, not much moisture, but next week there will be a little more moisture with a system coming through. Now, I know it's a long way off, but at least one model, what we call the GFS model, is portraying it this way: late Monday night into early Tuesday. A lot of moisture, and as you progress from southern Arkansas where it's rain, you could have freezing rain in southern Arkansas, maybe a little sleet here, and some light snow in the northern part of the state. It's a long way off, but we just want to make you aware of it, and we'll have much more on it as we get a little bit closer.
And once again, there's the system that moved through. It is gone, filling in behind it again for tonight. Very cold Arctic air in place with teens and 20s all over the state. We're at 23 and holding steady in the Little Rock area. So for tomorrow, a little light snow or flurries again, mainly afternoon into the evening hours. Probability 20 to 30%. Searcy, Pine Bluff, and Bryant 30% there, with temperatures only in the upper 20s to low 30s. In town tonight, 18. Run that water, drip those pipes again. Flurries over the east will be ending, and then 32 tomorrow with some light snow developing. We've got the full forecast in through the weekend. Does include a little warming. We'll have it coming up.
Well, the weather continues to be the talk of the town, guys. Thanks. Well, you can stay home and crank up the heat during these frigid temperatures, but the homeless often have to just brave the cold. Jeanette Reyes is at a Little Rock location of the Salvation Army, which is giving them a warm place to stay. Jeanette, we understand they're asking for some help and donations.
That's right, Christina. They're asking for specific items, and we'll get into that in a minute. But it's because these warming shelter, or this specific one, is filling up pretty quickly. A lot of the homeless are taking advantage of this opportunity, which is great news. But officials here tell me that resources are running low.
I have no other place to go.
While these below freezing temperatures may represent an inconvenience for many, it's a life or death situation for Orvie Landon, who's homeless and is simply trying to survive for this one reason.
I hope to someday be able to reunite with my children and spend time with them. And if I'm out there in the cold with no place to go, then there's no way I can do that.
This warming center is staying open around the clock, and many are taking them up on the offer. But with several days of freezing temperatures ahead, donations are needed. The Salvation Army is asking for non-perishable foods, snacks, coffee, tea, thick blankets, and jackets.
We had a lot of people who came in and they're staying in so long as it's cold and snowing outside.
And while you may think your donation won't make much of a difference, Landon says it represents more than you could imagine.
What they've done really means something, and it's really beneficial for those who need it and want to put that to work.
And, you know, unfortunately, some people will decide later on tonight to leave the warming center and spend the night in these dangerously low temperatures. So they're asking for donations like book bags filled with food and some thick blankets and coats to help those people brave the night. Back to you.
Some great work being done at the Salvation Army tonight. Jeanette, thanks. A nursing home has quarantined its buildings as an outbreak of norovirus is sweeping through the facility. Now, our cameras were not allowed through the doors, but as Channel 7's Janelle Lilly learned, this is the second outbreak of the virus at the facility in a year. Janelle.
That's right, Scott. According to the Department of Health, in the last year, there have been 6 outbreaks of norovirus in our entire state, and 2 of those have been at that facility.
Tracy Donaldson's family decided to move her beloved grandmother into Trinity Village. They felt good about her care. For 6 years, she lived there comfortably. But then Tracy says she noticed a change.
In January, everything of last year started going downhill, the quality of care. I noticed that the kitchen workers were cleaning the toilets and the workers were not. They were out cleaning the rooms.
A few months after, she was told Birdie was one of 44 people in the home with a stomach bug known as norovirus.
We have it in our stool when we get sick, and food workers get it on their hands if they don't wash their hands well, and they put it in the food.
Only hours after the symptoms started, Birdie died. Now, 9 months later, the home is closed again. Another outbreak. The facility called the Department of Health and has quarantined the building. We weren't allowed in, but were provided with this statement, quote, family members are being updated on a regular basis. All staff providing care to our residents is going above and beyond the call of duty to assure residents receive appropriate care. But Tracy doesn't believe that care was given to her grandma. The virus can be prevented by folks washing their hands.
I want people to know, unfortunately, my efforts, I didn't get to save my grandmother, but I want people to know what's going on. This doesn't need to happen.
Tracy is pursuing legal action against the home, and she says that the kitchen supervisor and the head cook have been fired after this most recent outbreak. We reached out to the facility to confirm that, but did not hear a reply. Back to you.
All right, Janelle Lilly in our newsroom tonight. Thank you. A family believes their former neighborhood in North Little Rock is contaminated, making residents there sick. The sisters grew up in Indian Hills by a dry creek. Runoff from a landfill that is now shut down comes down that creek. Through research, they say there is an alarming cancer rate, specifically pancreatic cancer. They believe the creek is the link. Both their parents died of the illness. 7 nearby neighbors also have been diagnosed, and 2 are still alive.
4 of them were on Flint Rock Road, which is where our parents lived. The other 5 were around the Indian Hills lakes.
Now you will hear more of that interview and what the Arkansas Department of Health has to say about the claims. That's tonight on Nightside.
Well, disputes between landlords and tenants are not uncommon in Arkansas, but Jason Peterson has been looking at a disagreement that did rise to uncommon levels, to say the least. In fact, some may even call it a throwdown. Jason's here with details tonight.
Scott, a Monroe County throwdown over rental property is the focus of tonight's 7 on Your Side report, and the ruckus is coming from an unexpected place. It's uncommon drama for Clarendon. This quiet town of about 1,500 is 75 miles east of Little Rock. Usually you can catch up on the latest gossip while getting a haircut at Larry's Barbershop down on the square. But tonight, Larry Curtis is at the heart of the story. Curtis owns 15 rental properties, and a recent eviction did not go well.
He hits me in the ribs. When he does that, I fall back, and he grabs me again, he picks me up, and he throws me down.
And you're videotaping?
I'm videotaping the whole time.
How do you justify hitting a woman?
I didn't hit no woman.
You didn't hit her?
There ain't nothing to show I hit her.
Now we'll take a closer look at Christine's video tonight on Nightside, and you can decide for yourself. We'll also tell you what started all this and what happened when a Monroe County throwdown outside of a rent house wound up in a Clarendon courtroom in front of a judge.
This has got to be one of the wildest stories you've ever covered, huh?
Pretty wild video.
Yeah. All right, Jason, we'll see you again at 10. Thanks very much. Still ahead tonight on Channel 7 News at 6. February is Heart Month, as you may know, and it may be time to get a heart checkup. Justin Lewis has details on a test you can take that will not break the bank. That's coming up at 6:16.
But first, the forecast. We have you covered in the short run and for the long haul. Chief Meteorologist Ned Permy joins us after the break.
Channel 7 News at 6. Brought to you by Cleo's Furniture, Everett Buick GMC, and Lorraine's The Diamond Center in Hot Springs. Skycams, sponsored by Middleton Heat and Air. Now, weather with Chief Meteorologist Ned Permy.
Boy, it was a raw, cold day, a gripping cold today. Only made it to 23. That's all we could do. That's where we're hovering around right now. 21 was the high temperature today at North Little Rock. We've had a trace of flurries and light snow today. Didn't accumulate too much. And the good news is, as it fell on the ground and on the roadways, it was so dry it just kind of blew away. So no travel problems at all. And of course, all of it was a trace of snow, so it didn't really add to the rainfall surplus. We're still about an inch at both locations above normal for the year. Cold out there. All the snow, light snow on the roofs over the downtown area looking on toward the west. And once again, we're going to do it again tomorrow. Kind of a very similar system to today. Area of disturbed weather, a little wave aloft is going to move through and it's going to provide another round of some light snow or flurries, mainly in the afternoon and evening hours. And again, maybe a dusting to as much as an inch. And the higher elevated areas probably are likely to see more, but not more than an inch. Again, it's going to be very much on the light side. So there goes the system, very clearly defined, that moved across the state today. That's that one wave exiting to the east right now. Will continue to move away, and we've just got very cold air in place. And for tonight, readings are going to be falling, not a whole lot more because of the cloud cover, but still extremely cold. 10 up at St. Louis, 5 at Kansas City. We're at 23 here and also at Memphis. The upper level winds continue to be out of the southwest and west, and that's going to pick up our next system that's coming out of the southwestern U.S. You can see it very well diving out of California, moving into Arizona and New Mexico, and that low pressure area will catch a ride on that subtropical jet stream, and it's going to push it in tomorrow. And again, that's going to translate into some light snow and flurries for the state tomorrow afternoon and evening. Other than that, cold temperatures. However, we are seeing a bit of a warming trend a little bit over the weekend. Temperature right now, though, still hanging in at 23, north wind at 9 miles an hour. It's 15 up at Harrison, 16 at Fayetteville, 19 at Searcy, and up at Independence County at Batesville. Rest of the readings are in the 20s all over the state. Wind chill factors are in the single digits and teens with 21 down at El Dorado and Texarkana. Here comes the second system, not showing a whole lot because it's very, very light, but Futurecast picks up a little bit as it moves east of the area before midnight and then slightly warmer into the weekend, but dry looks like for Saturday and Sunday. 18 tonight. Mostly cloudy. A few flurries continue over the eastern counties for the next hour or so. Tomorrow's high 32 with a 30% chance of some light snow or flurries into the evening hours. 25 overnight tomorrow night. And the temperature on Saturday, 42. And 43 on Sunday. Better chances for winter precipitation come in Monday and into Tuesday. More on that. It looks like a mix of freezing rain and sleet and snow north. So 42 and 43 over the weekend. That's still 10 degrees below normal, but better than 30 degrees below normal like it was today.
Yes.
So
It's all
let's take what we can get.
All this winter weather, we haven't even had any snow to play in, really, at least in central Arkansas.
Don't want that.
Yeah, well, you know, it's better than the ice and all that.
That's a good point.
Ned, thank you. February is Heart Month, and it's also a good time to think about your heart health.
That's right. Arkansas ranks high in the number of heart disease-related deaths, but you don't have to be a victim. An affordable solution after the break. Well, it's certainly not a ranking a state wants to have. Arkansas now comes in as the 5th highest number of deaths due to heart disease in the country.
Well, with Heart Month in mind, an inexpensive preventative test that could help lower those numbers. Channel 7's Justin Lewis is here to tell us more. Justin.
Well, Scott and Christina, the Arkansas Heart Hospital has put together a checklist of heart-related tests that they call Keep the Beat consultation. It factors in a CT scan of your heart, lab blood tests, an ECG, artery screening, and even your body mass index and body fat percentage. Results are made available immediately after the hour-long test. Then if there are issues with your health, nutrition counseling is also available, or if signs of an emergency are there through those tests, you can seek a physician right there on campus. The only restrictions are men must be 40 years old to receive the test, and women must be 45. Here's what one cardiologist told us today about new technology that allows them to better prevent future heart disease complications.
In fact, one of the parts of the screening that we do is a risk factor assessment, and it's based on what's called the Framingham data, which was published many, many years ago. And we can get an estimate of what's their overall percentage risk per year if, quote, they don't change their ways.
The overall test is about $100, and if you would like to schedule an appointment, we've linked that phone number to this story on our website, KATV.com. Let's send it back over to you.
I'm sure it's something a lot of people will take advantage of. Justin, thank you.
Coach Bielema in town for signing day in the Rock.
Should be a big night over there and a big night on the basketball court. Sully's got another shootout with the shooter, and this time there's a twist. How about Bobby Portis? Last night, the freshman from Hall High turned in a record-setting performance. His final line, amazing. 35 points, 9 rebounds, 6 block shots. I can't remember a Razorback in recent history who's posted those kind of stats. He broke Scotty Thurman's single-game freshman scoring record, which was 34. Thurman did point out that he scored 34 on the road. Here's Coach and Bobby on the freshman's big night.
Back to Portis. Well, it doesn't surprise me because he puts in the time. He works extremely hard. But, you know, it's one of those nights where he was in a rhythm. He was in a zone. He was in that zone. We shoot 13 threes and we make 1. Guess who made it? Bobby Portis. So it was that kind of night.
I don't really care about scoring, like I said. I'm just trying to help my team win. I just want to win bad. Like, every time we lose, I cry. And like that, I'm a winner. Ever since high school, I've been winning championships, 4 state championships. I want to win here, too. That's all I want to do is win.
Gotta love that attitude. It's been fun watching Bobby this season. Due to signing day yesterday, we had to pull an audible with the shooter. So tonight's Shootout with the Shooter segment is Pat ranking the top 3-point shooters in Razorback history.
Where do we start the countdown? We'll start at number 5. I got my man Rodney Clark. Rodney was one of the most dangerous shooters I've ever seen. From number 5 down to number 4, and we'll go my man, one of the best point guards, if not the best point guard in the history of Razorback basketball, that's Lee Mayberry. How about number 3? My man Al Dillard, all day AD. This guy is so unique where he could be on the bench for 15, 20 minutes the whole first half, but he had the ability, which is not very easy, to come into the game at any point and knock down 2, 3, 4, 5 shots in a row. Number 2, my man who hits the shot, Scotty Thurman. Maybe the smoothest jump shot you're ever gonna see. As we get down to number 1, I heard there's a legend of a guy named Marvin Delph. Now the legend goes way, way, way back. Supposedly, if there was a 3-point line, this guy would have broke scoreboards, shoots the leather off the ball. Unfortunately, Marvin, my man, we don't get any video of you, so you're left with me, because you get tons of video of me shooting the ball, and that's where we're going to leave it. And that's our countdown of the best 3-point shooters the Razorbacks have seen.
I love that old video of Pat. Coach Bielema is in town for his sold-out signing day in the Rock event. This signing class features only 5 Arkansas players. Coach B says that number will go up next season. He says their number 1 priority is to get the best kids from this state.
As soon as there's a player from Arkansas at their position, they evaluate him 100 times over, and make sure that we get a fair and just evaluation on it, and understand that if that kid can play, we need to get him here, and even fair on the side of getting him here. One of the neat things for me is being in the southern part of Arkansas and going down there and recruiting and seeing great players, and how much of an outpour we get from the community to. I'm not saying what has happened or hasn't happened in the past, just that people are excited to see Arkansas down there and getting some of those guys that they think can play big-time ball.
Big game over at Jack Stevens Center tonight. UALR and Georgia State. Highlights on night side. Georgia State's pretty darn good. Yeah, undefeated in conference. Sully, thank you.
Here's a check of your stock market numbers.
Tonight on Nightside, the Pulaski County Jail nearing its limit of inmates. Maureen Glisovic is covering the story and will have more for us tonight at 10 o'clock.
That's going to do it for us tonight at 6. Thanks for joining us.
We'll be back at 10. Hope to see you here.